The crystal champagne flute trembles in my hand as I watch my stepfather Richard take the stage. The retirement gala sparkles around us, a testament to 30 years of building Silverstone Media from nothing. My heart pounds with anticipation. After a decade of 70-hour weeks and sacrificed relationships, tonight everything changes. I'm Autumn, and I've spent my entire adult life preparing for this moment. Friends, colleagues, family, Richard begins, his voice carrying across the grand ballroom. Tonight marks not just an ending, but a beginning. The crowd of 300 falls silent. I straighten my spine, smoothing down my midnight blue dress. Next to me, my half-brother Tyler fidgets with his bow tie, his usual cocky smirk replaced by an unusual intensity. Silverstone Media has been my life's work, Richard continues. But every empire needs new blood, fresh vision. He pauses, his eyes scanning the crowd. That's why I'm proud to announce that, effective immediately, my son Tyler will be taking over as Chief Executive Officer. The champagne flute slips from my numb fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Heads turn. Whispers ripple through the crowd. My mother Lily won't meet my eyes. Tyler brings exactly what this company needs to face the challenges ahead. Richard's words hammer nails into my coffin of dreams. Youth, innovation, and most importantly, the right instincts for leadership. Applause erupts. Tyler bounds onto stage, all practiced charm and perfect teeth. I remain rooted in place, shards of crystal crunching under my heels. Speech, someone calls out. Tyler grabs the microphone, basking in the spotlight that should have been mine. I promise to make Silverstone Media stronger than ever, he declares, to honor my father's legacy while blazing new trails. My colleague Derek appears at my elbow. This can't be happening, he mutters. Everyone knows you're the one who... Not now, I cut him off, plastering on a smile as cameras flash. Inside, acid burns through my chest. Later, during the endless, congratulatory mingling, I corner Richard near the bar. Why? The single word carries a decade of betrayal. He sighs, swirling his scotch. Business isn't just about hard work, Autumn. It's about instinct, natural leadership. Tyler has that spark. Tyler has barely worked a full week in his life. He doesn't know the first thing about running this company. He'll learn, and you'll help him, won't you? Richard's tone carries steel beneath the request. For the good of the family, I want to scream, to expose every time Tyler's natural leadership meant pawning his work off on others. Instead, I nod stiffly. Of course. Across the room, I spot my grandmother Evelyn holding court with board members, probably already spinning this disaster into dynasty-building brilliance. My mother hovers nearby, champagne glass perpetually full. There's my favorite sister. Tyler's arm lands heavy across my shoulders. He reeks of expensive cologne and victory. Ready to show me the ropes? I extract myself from his embrace. Congratulations, Tyler. You must be so proud. Hey, no hard feelings, right? Dad knows what he's doing. And you're still part of the team. Part of the team. After 10 years of building client relationships, streamlining operations, and practically running things while Richard focused on the big picture. Now I get to teach my frat boy brother how to do my job. Of course, I say smoothly. No hard feelings at all. I excuse myself to the powder room, locking the door behind me. In the mirror, my reflection stares back. Composed, professional, the perfect corporate soldier. But something dark flickers behind my eyes. They want me to help Tyler. Fine, I'll help him straight into the ground. I'll watch everything Richard built crumble under his golden boy's incompetent hands. And when it's all ashes, they'll finally understand what they threw away. I reapply my lipstick, adjust my smile, and return to the party. After all, I have a lot to teach my dear brother about running a company. Starting with exactly how much he doesn't know. The morning after the gala, I find my mother in her garden, methodically deadheading roses like nothing's changed. Her perfectly manicured nails snip through stems with practiced precision. She doesn't look up when I approach. Did you know? The words taste like battery acid. Snip. Another dead bloom falls. Richard made his decision, Autumn. We need to respect that. That's not what I asked. My hands clench into fists. Did you know he was going to humiliate me in front of everyone? She finally meets my eyes, her expression carefully neutral. Tyler is Richard's son. The company is his legacy. And what am I? The backup plan, the workhorse who gets discarded when it's convenient. Don't be dramatic. She moves to another rosebush. You still have your position. Nothing's really changed. A bitter laugh escapes me. Nothing's changed. He gave my promotion to Tyler, who can barely handle his own expense reports without help. Your brother has potential. He just needs guidance. She pauses, her voice softening. This could be good for both of you, working together, supporting each other. Supporting each other. My voice rises. Where was his support when I was working 60-hour weeks? When I missed Christmas because of the Miller account? When, Autumn, my grandmother Evelyn's sharp voice cuts through my tirade. She stands in the garden doorway, elegant as ever in her tailored pantsuit. That's quite enough. Your mother doesn't need this hysteria. Of course not. I turn to face her. Heaven forbid anyone disturb the family peace by pointing out inconvenient truths. The truth, Evelyn says coldly, is that Richard built this company from nothing. He has every right to choose its future leadership. The truth is that Tyler's going to run it into the ground, and you're all too blinded by tradition to see it. Perhaps, she replies, if you'd spent more time cultivating relationships instead of spreadsheets, things might be different. The barb hits its mark. I remember all the family dinners I missed, the social events I skipped, always putting the company first, thinking it would prove my worth. You mean if I'd played politics better? I ask quietly. Smiled more? Been more like Tyler? Your brother understands people, my mother interjects. He has natural charisma. He has natural charm and zero work ethic, I snap. But sure, let's pretend that's leadership. Evelyn's eyes narrow. Mind your tone, young lady. This attitude isn't helping anyone. No? I laugh. Well, neither is pretending everything's fine while Tyler destroys what I've spent 10 years building. What Richard spent 30 years building, Evelyn corrects sharply. Don't overstate your importance. The words slice deep. I see my mother flinch, but she says nothing. Always the peacekeeper, never taking sides. My phone buzzes, a message from Derek about an emergency client meeting Tyler's already missed. Of course. You know what? I straighten my spine. You're right. I should focus on what's important, like making sure your precious golden boy doesn't bankrupt us in his first week. Autumn, please. My mother reaches for my arm. Can't we just what, Mum? Pretend everything's fine? Play happy families while watching Tyler destroy everything? I pull away. Sorry, but I learned from the best about putting the company first. Evelyn's voice follows me as I stride away. Richard was right about your temperament. This is exactly why. I don't hear the rest. Don't need to. Their expectations and disappointments have always spoken louder than words. Back in my car, I grip the steering wheel until my knuckles turn white. My phone buzzes again. 3 missed calls from Tyler, probably needing me to bail him out of whatever mess he's already created. Fine. They want me to support Tyler. I'll support him right off a cliff. Let them see exactly what happens when they bet everything on the wrong horse. I start the engine, a plan already forming. Richard taught me everything about building a company. Now I'll use those lessons to tear it all down. My mother's roses disappear in the rearview mirror, blood-red petals scattered across perfectly manicured grass. Sometimes you have to prune deep to fix what's broken, and I'm done playing in someone else's garden. The quarterly reports spread across my desk tell a story that makes my blood run cold. Not because of what they show, but because of what they hide. 3 months of subtle irregularities, carefully masked transfers, and project reassignments that all point to one truth. Richard has been systematically setting Tyler up to fail. These numbers don't add up. Derek leans over my shoulder, frowning at the screen. The Morrison account shows double the projected expenses, but half the staff allocation. I pull up another document. Look at this. Every major account Tyler's supposedly managing was restructured before the handover. Richard stripped out the support staff, removed the safety nets. While making it look like business as usual, Derek whistles low. That's cold, even for Richard. He's creating a perfect storm. My fingers trace the patterns of destruction hidden in plain sight. Tyler won't see it coming until it's too late. A knock interrupts us. Maya stands in the doorway, perfectly composed as always. Tyler's looking for you. The Jensen presentation starts in 20 minutes. The presentation he was supposed to prepare last week? I close the files quickly. The same. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes. He mentioned something about needing your expert touch on the numbers. Of course he does. I grab my laptop, mind racing. Derek, can you... Already on it. He taps his tablet meaningfully. I'll dig deeper into those discrepancies. The executive conference room buzzes with tension when I arrive. Tyler paces by the window, his usual swagger replaced by barely concealed panic. There you are. He grabs my arm. Look, I know this is last minute, but I really need you to take over the presentation. I finish flatly. Just help me look good. His smile wavers. Dad's calling in, and after last week's mishap with the Miller contract. You mean when you forgot to review the terms and nearly cost us the account? Details. He waves dismissively. Come on, sis. We're family. Family. The word tastes bitter now. I think of the doctored reports, of Richard's elaborate trap, of Tyler walking blindly into it. Fine. I pull up the presentation I knew I'd end up giving. But we do this my way. The meeting starts rough and gets worse. Tyler fumbles basic questions, contradicts himself, and keeps looking to me with increasingly desperate eyes. I feed him answers, watch him stumble through them, and feel something shift inside me. Richard's face on the video call remains impassive, but I see the calculation behind his eyes. He's watching his plan unfold exactly as designed. Perhaps, Richard interrupts Tyler's latest rambling response. Autumn could clarify the projection models. And there it is, the perfect moment to expose everything. The manipulation, the setup, the inevitable crash he's orchestrating. I could save Tyler from what's coming, or, actually, I smile, I think Tyler should walk us through his vision for the account's future development. Tyler freezes. Richard's eyebrows lift slightly. In the silence that follows, I see the moment Tyler realizes he's completely out of his depth. The meeting ends in polite disaster. As executives file out, Maya lingers, her expression thoughtful. Interesting strategy, she murmurs, letting him sink rather than saving him. Sometimes people need to learn their own lessons. Her laugh is soft. Is that what we're calling it? Back in my office, Derek's waiting with more findings. It's worse than we thought. Richard's been systematically... I know. I cut him off, staring at the city beyond my window. He's orchestrating Tyler's failure to prove a point. So, what are you going to do? Tell Tyler? I think of my brother's desperate eyes in that meeting, of Richard's calculated manipulation, of my mother's roses and grandmother's dismissal. No. I turn back to my desk, pulling up the files that will seal Tyler's fate. I'm going to help them both get exactly what they want. Autumn, Derek's voice carries a warning. Richard wants to teach Tyler a lesson about leadership. I start typing. Fine, let's give them both an education they'll never forget. The quarterly reports glow on my screen, their hidden messages now clear as day. Richard thinks he's the only one who can play this game. He's about to learn otherwise. Sometimes the best revenge isn't stopping someone's plans. It's helping them succeed in all the wrong ways. Sleep hasn't come easily since I discovered Richard's manipulation. Tonight, I stand at my apartment window, watching city lights blur through a glass of bourbon when my phone vibrates. A message from an unknown number. Check your email. You're not the only one he's playing. The attached files make my hands shake. Employee records, performance reviews, a pattern spanning years before Tyler, before me. Other promising executives, carefully groomed, then systematically destroyed. Couldn't sleep either. Derek's voice comes through when I call. I was about to... Did you send these files? A pause. What files? I forward them while explaining. His sharp intake of breath tells me he's seeing what I saw. Jesus, he mutters. Sarah Chen in 2015. Marcus Rodriguez in 2018. All of them. Set up to fail. My reflection stares back, haunted. It's his game. Build them up, break them down, then sweep in to save the company. And now Tyler's next. Derek's keyboard clicks in the background. But why would he do this to his own son? The bourbon burns going down. Because it's never been about Tyler. It's about control. Always has been. A knock at my door makes me freeze. Through the peephole, Maya stands in the hallway, perfectly composed despite the late hour. We need to talk, she says when I open the door. Her eyes flick to my phone. Alone. I end the call with Derek, but leave the line open, muted. Maya moves through my apartment like she owns it, settling onto my couch with practiced grace. Those files you received? She crosses her legs. They're just the beginning. You sent them. I've been watching Richard's pattern for years. She pulls out a tablet. Waiting for the right moment, the right ally. And you think that's me? Her smile is razor sharp. I think you're smart enough to see the bigger picture. This isn't just about your brother anymore. The tablet shows more documents. Board meeting minutes, private emails, financial transfers. A web of manipulation spanning decades. Richard's retiring, but he's not letting go, Maya continues. Tyler's just his latest puppet. Once he fails, Richard steps in as special advisor to clean up the mess. The board begs him to return, and the cycle continues. My hands clench. Why show me this? Because you're different. You actually understand the business. With the right evidence, the right strategy. She lets the implication hang. You want me to help you expose him. I want us to help each other. She stands, smoothing her skirt. Think about it, but don't take too long. Others are already moving against him. After she leaves, Derek's voice crackles through my phone. You know this is a trap, right? I stare at the documents Maya left behind. The question is, whose trap? Autumn. His tone carries warning. This is bigger than family drama now. People's careers, lives. I know. My voice sounds distant to my own ears. That's why I have to do something. Do what, exactly? The bourbon glass catches moonlight, casting shadows like prison bars across my floor. Beat them at their own game. I spend the rest of the night digging deeper, mapping connections, finding patterns. By dawn, my walls are covered in digital strings of evidence, all pointing to one inescapable truth. I'm not just fighting for my place anymore. I'm fighting for everyone Richard has ever destroyed. My phone buzzes. Tyler, asking for help with another presentation. Below that, a message from my mother about Sunday dinner. A family pretending everything's normal while Rome burns. Maya's right about one thing. This is bigger than Tyler now, but she's wrong if she thinks I'm playing by anyone's rules but my own. I send Derek a message. Get me everything you can on Maya's history with the company. Every project, every connection. Then I call Tyler. Hey, brother. About that presentation, I have some ideas I think Dad will love. Sometimes the only way to dismantle a game is to play all sides until the pieces collapse. Richard taught me that, even if he never meant to. The sun rises over the city, painting everything in shades of blood and gold. Time to see who's really pulling the strings, and who's about to get tangled in them. The Morrison account was supposed to be Tyler's first major test. Instead, it becomes my first real move. I sit in the back of the conference room, watching him flounder through another presentation and carefully plant the seeds of doubt. Interesting approach, I murmur to the client when Tyler steps out, though not quite what we discussed in the preliminary meetings. Mrs. Morrison's perfectly manicured nails tap against her tablet. You mean when you handled the account? Oh, I'm sure Tyler has his reasons for the changes. I pause, letting concern color my voice. Though, if you'd prefer to discuss the original strategy. By the time Tyler returns, Mrs. Morrison's smile has gained a predatory edge. The meeting ends with polite promises to review their options. Derek catches me in the hallway afterward. That was cold. That was business. I keep walking, heels clicking against marble. Tyler wanted to play CEO. Let him learn how it feels to lose a $10 million account. And the 30 people whose jobs depend on that account. I falter for half a step. They'll land on their feet. Besides, better a controlled crash now than... Autumn. Maya appears around the corner, smooth as silk. Richard wants to see you. My stomach drops, but I keep my face neutral. In Richard's office, sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the man who taught me everything about power, including how to lose it. The Morrison account, he begins without preamble. They're considering pulling out. So I heard. Tyler seems to think you might have influenced their decision. I meet his gaze steadily. Tyler needs to learn that actions have consequences. Indeed, Richard's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Speaking of consequences, the board is concerned about recent performance metrics. They're suggesting a restructuring of senior management. The threat hangs between us. I think of Maya's files, of all the others Richard has destroyed. Interesting timing. Just business. He turns to the window. Though I'd hate to see your career suffer from poor choices. Like choosing loyalty over competence. His shoulders stiffen. Careful, Autumn. Family or not. Family? I laugh, sharp and bitter. Is that what you call it when you set your own son up to fail? He turns back slowly. What exactly are you implying? You know exactly what I'm implying. The doctored reports, the systematic dismantling of support structures. Did you use the same playbook on Sarah Chen, Marcus Rodriguez? For a moment, something like respect flickers across his face. Then it's gone, replaced by calculated concern. You seem stressed. Perhaps you should take some time off. To think about my future? I stand. Don't worry, Richard. I'm thinking about all our futures. Outside his office, Maya waits with a knowing smile. Productive meeting? You could say that. I start walking. She falls into step beside me. Tell me, Maya, how long did you work with Sarah Chen before Richard destroyed her? Her stride hitches. I don't. Because I've been looking at the old org charts. Funny how you always seem to be adjacent to the carnage, but never caught in it. We all make choices to survive. Her voice hardens. The question is, what choice are you making now? Before I can answer, Tyler bursts from the elevator, face flushed. The Morrisons just called. They're pulling their entire portfolio. Maya's eyebrows rise. All 7 subsidiaries? They're saying something about loss of confidence in leadership. Tyler's accusations hit like bullets. What did you say to them? Nothing they hadn't already figured out. I turn away, but his hand catches my arm. You're trying to sabotage me. Tyler, Maya interrupts smoothly. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. No. His grip tightens. I want to know why my own sister. Because someone had to show you what real leadership costs. I wrench free. Congratulations, little brother. You just learned your first lesson. I leave him standing there, Maya already moving to damage control. In my office, Derek waits with fresh intel. The Morrisons aren't just pulling out, he says quietly. They're taking their business to Startup Media. My new shell company, created last week under layers of corporate veils. Phase 1 complete, I murmur, watching Tyler rush past my door, trailing destruction in his wake. Time for Phase 2. Autumn. Derek hesitates. Are you sure about this? Once you start, I'm sure about one thing. I pull up the next set of accounts targeted for restructuring. Richard taught us all about burning bridges. Now let's see how he likes watching his empire burn. The emergency board meeting feels like a funeral. 24 hours after the Morrison disaster, Silverstone's stock has plummeted 18%. I sit at the far end of the conference table, watching Tyler sweat through his expensive suit while Richard maintains his granite facade. 3 major accounts lost in 2 weeks. Board Chairman Phillips reads from his tablet. projected quarterly losses exceeding 30 million. Would anyone care to explain? Maya slides a document across the table. Our analysis suggests a systematic breakdown in client relations under the new leadership structure. Breakdown, Tyler's voice cracks. More like sabotage. Autumn's been... Careful, brother. I keep my tone mild. Accusations require evidence. Richard's eyes narrow as I pull out my own folder. Speaking of evidence, I continue, I have some interesting documents regarding company management practices over the past decade. The color drains from his face. He knows exactly what I'm holding. Perhaps we should discuss this privately, he suggests. Why? Afraid of what the board might learn about your leadership training methods? I start distributing copies. About Sarah Chen, Marcus Rodriguez, all the others you built up just to tear down. Murmurs ripple through the room as board members scan the papers. Phillips removes his glasses slowly. Richard, these allegations are a desperate attempt at misdirection, Maya interrupts. The real issue is the current crisis. The real issue, I stand, is that this company has been run like a puppet show, and I'm done playing with strings. I trigger the presentation screen, displaying years of manipulated reports, doctored performance reviews, and carefully orchestrated failures. Tyler stares at the evidence of his own orchestrated downfall, comprehension dawning in his eyes. Dad? His voice sounds young, broken. You set me up. Tyler, I was preparing you. For what? I cut in. To fail spectacularly enough that the board would beg you to return, just like every other time. The room erupts in chaos. Board members demand explanations. Maya tries to seize control of the narrative, but I'm not done. Oh, and about those lost accounts? I pull up one final document. They're not lost. They're with Startup Media, my new company. Richard's mask finally cracks. You learn from the best. I smile. About burning bridges, destroying lives, all of it. How does it feel, watching your legacy crumble? The victory tastes like ashes when I see Tyler's devastated face. This was supposed to be about justice, but now... Security will escort you out, Phillips says quietly. All of you, pending a full investigation. In the lobby, Tyler catches my arm. Was any of it real? Did you ever actually care about helping me? Before I can answer, Maya appears. Autumn? A word? She leads me aside, her smile sharp as broken glass. Brilliant performance. Almost had me convinced. She hands me her phone, displaying emails I've never seen. But you missed something. My blood freezes. The emails show conversations between Richard and Maya spanning years. Planning my downfall, not Tyler's. I was the target all along. Did you really think Richard would let an outsider run his company? She laughs softly. Tyler was just the bait, and you played your part perfectly. The evidence will be dismissed as fabricated once the board sees these. Your reputation, destroyed. Startup Media, about to face multiple lawsuits. She pats my cheek. Richard taught you well, but he taught me better. Security approaches. Maya steps back, victorious. By the way, Sarah Chen works for me now. Funny how things come full circle. I walk out of Silverstone Media for the last time, my carefully constructed revenge plot shattering around me. Derek waits by my car. They're freezing our accounts, he says quietly. All of them. Maya's team moved fast. Of course they did. I was so focused on Richard's game, I never saw the bigger trap. My phone buzzes. My mother. The family lawyers will handle everything, she says when I answer. But Autumn, don't come to Sunday dinner, not for a while. I watch Tyler leave the building, shoulders slumped, destroyed by the truth about both his father and his sister. Richard follows, already in damage control mode. Maya stands at the window above, queen of the castle I helped her claim. What now? Derek asks. I think of all the lives I've damaged in my quest for justice, of the legacy of destruction I've continued rather than ended. Now? My laugh sounds hollow even to me. Now we see if I learned anything from Richard besides how to burn it all down. 3 days after the board meeting, I find Sarah Chen waiting in my apartment. She sits at my kitchen counter, calm as if she belongs there, a familiar manila envelope between her hands. Maya said you'd figure it out eventually. She slides the envelope toward me. But I thought you deserved to know the whole truth. Inside, I find what Maya missed, evidence of her own manipulation. Years of careful orchestration, using both Richard and Tyler as pawns while she positioned herself for power. The same game Richard played, but with an extra layer of deception. Why show me this? Sarah's smile is tired. Because Maya forgot one thing about people she destroys. We tend to remember. My phone buzzes. Derek. You need to see this. Maya's calling an emergency press conference. She's going to... I know exactly what she's going to do. I grab my keys, and I know exactly who's going to stop her. The Silverstone media lobby buzzes with reporters. Maya stands at the podium, resplendent in victory, while Richard and Tyler sit behind her like well-trained dogs. My mother and grandmother watch from the wings, their perfect family tableau finally shattered. Today marks a new chapter, Maya begins, as we address recent allegations of corporate misconduct. Funny you should mention misconduct. My voice carries across the room. Heads turn, cameras swivel. I have some allegations of my own. Maya's smile doesn't waver. Security won't help you. Sarah Chen emerges from the crowd, followed by Marcus Rodriguez and others, all Maya's previous victims. Not with what we know. I approach the podium, each step measured. You were right about one thing, Maya. Richard taught me well, but he didn't teach me everything. The evidence appears on the screen behind her, not just Richard's manipulations or Tyler's setup, but Maya's entire scheme. Years of careful documentation, preserved by those she thought she'd destroyed. You see, I continue, while you were watching Richard teach me about power, you missed the most important lesson, how to recognize when you're being played. Maya's composure cracks. These documents are clearly fabricated, like the ones you planted about me. I turn to the board members present. Interesting timing on those emails, by the way. Almost like they were created after the fact. Richard stands slowly, recognition dawning in his eyes. You knew. All along, you knew what she was doing. I learned from the best, remember? My laugh holds no humor. About watching your enemies destroy themselves while you just help things along. Tyler joins us at the podium, his face hard. The Morrison account, you didn't just steal it, you protected it, from her. Maya moves with sudden desperation, but Sarah blocks her path. Around us, her carefully constructed house of cards collapses as former victims step forward with their own evidence. Congratulations, I tell her softly. You played everyone perfectly, except for one detail. You forgot to check who was really pulling the strings at Startup Media. Her eyes widen as she finally understands. Every client she thought I'd stolen, every account she'd helped me sabotage, all part of a larger plan to expose her own manipulation. The board has heard enough. Chairman Philip steps forward. Security will escort Ms. Maya to her office to collect her things. The authorities have some questions about certain financial irregularities. As Maya is led away, Richard approaches me. You sacrificed everything, your reputation, your position, your own family, just to expose her. No. I meet his gaze steadily. I sacrificed everything to break the cycle. Your cycle, her cycle, all of it. I turn to leave, but Tyler catches my arm. What happens now? Now? I look at our fractured family, at the company built on manipulation and fear. Now we learn how to build something new, something better, if you're interested. Behind us, reporters clamor for statements while Maya's empire crumbles. But I'm already walking away, Sarah and the others falling in step beside me. Sometimes victory isn't about who's left standing. It's about who's brave enough to walk away and start again. Derek waits by the door, grinning. Ready for phase 3? I think of all the lessons Richard taught me about power, all the ones Maya taught me about deception, and all the ones I had to learn myself about redemption. Phase 3, I agree. Let's build something worth saving this time. The new office of Phoenix Media overlooks the city from a different angle than Silverstone's tower. Smaller, but somehow it feels more real. Sarah Chen's team just landed their third major account, while Marcus Rodriguez's creative division continues exceeding expectations. Board meeting in 10, Derek announces, dropping a stack of reports on my desk. Tyler's waiting in the conference room. I find my brother studying our mission statement on the wall, building success through integrity. His suit is less expensive now, but he stands straighter. The Anderson portfolio looks promising, he says without turning, though the numbers need work. That's why I asked you to consult. I move beside him. You've learned a lot about what not to do, learned from the best. His smile holds a hint of old pain, but something else too. Understanding, maybe. Speaking of learning, did you see this? He hands me a tablet displaying Richard's resignation letter from Silverstone's board. The company's being restructured under new leadership. Someone named Claire Foster, a long-time middle manager I barely remember. Claire? I frown. Why her? Check her personnel file, the one Richard kept in his private records. The document makes my hands shake. Years of notes, careful observations, quiet mentoring. Richard had been grooming Claire all along, while the rest of us fought over shadows. He played us all, Tyler says quietly. But maybe he taught us something too, about what really matters in building something lasting. The conference room fills with my new team, former victims of corporate games turned architects of something better. Sarah Chen's financial models revolutionized our approach. Marcus Rodriguez's creative strategies attract clients tired of old power plays. Quarterly projections are up, Sarah begins, but more importantly, employee satisfaction scores. A familiar figure in the doorway cuts her off. My mother stands there, looking smaller than I remember. I won't stay, she says quickly. I just wanted you to have these. She places a box on the table. Old photos, newspaper clippings, documentation of every achievement Richard never acknowledged. At the bottom, a handwritten note. I should have seen you sooner. Ah. Evelyn still won't speak to me, my mother continues, but I'm learning to speak for myself. After she leaves, Tyler helps me sort through the box. We find pictures of ourselves as children, before power and position poisoned everything, before we learned the wrong lessons about success. You know, Tyler muses, I always thought Dad's greatest legacy would be Silverstone. But looking at this, he gestures around the office, at the people working together without fear or manipulation. Maybe his real legacy is what we learned not to be. The board meeting proceeds without power plays or hidden agendas. We discuss challenges openly, admit mistakes honestly, celebrate successes genuinely. It's harder this way, slower, but it feels clean. Later, I find one last photo in the box. Richard at my college graduation, actually smiling. On the back, in Claire Foster's handwriting, he saw the potential for something better in all of you. Derek appears with fresh coffee and a knowing look. So, ready to tell the team about the merger offer? I think about Silverstone's board wanting to combine forces, about Claire Foster's quiet revolution there, about second chances and better ways forward. Not yet, I decide. Some foundations need time to settle. Through the window, I can see both buildings now, Silverstone's imposing tower and our more modest office. Different shadows, different lessons. Tyler's already studying the merger proposals, but this time with questions about culture and values, not just power and profit. The photo of Richard goes into my desk drawer, not hidden, just waiting, like the possibility of reconciliation, of understanding that some victories don't look like what we expected. Sarah pokes her head in. New client meeting in 5. They're interested in our innovative corporate culture. I smile, thinking of all the ways we learned to build something new from the ruins of the old. Tell them we're ready, Because that's the thing about shadows. They only have power when you let them define your light. And we're done living in anyone's shadow but our own.